You know, one of my favorite prepper topics is communications because I feel it's so vital during a disaster or emergency. Well, today I found another little radio, kind of unique. This is the Talk Radio A36Plus GMRS and Ham HT. Let's check it out. All right, folks, welcome back. So I do notice right off the bat that this is going to probably be a little controversial because it combines GMRS and ham radio. And I know that it's probably not type certified for both. It is certified definitely for GMRS because there is an FCC ID. It's Part 15B with a Part 95E. So I know it's certified for GMRS. Ham radio, it probably isn't, but I'll be honest with you, there was a time where there were no commercial ham radios. If you wanted to be on the air, you built your radio. So FCC certification wasn't in effect for there. And pretty much as long as you're following the rules and you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're using a legal call sign, nobody's going to bother you. Unless your radio is seriously lacking or something's really wrong with it, chances are no big deal. So I've tested this out both on GMRS and on ham radio, and it does seem to perform very well. It's a neat little system. It will allow you to use 7 different bands. Most of those are receive, okay? You have your GMRS and your ham radio that you can talk on, your ham bands, your 2 meter and 440. You do have 512 memory channels, so you got a nice big wide option there. It also will do FM radio and NOAA weather radio, so that's kind of handy too. It is IP54 rated. It's Mills STD, the 810 construction, so it can withstand some outdoor abuse. I did get the green one because I kind of like it. It looks like our local fire department radios here, if you ever seen the firefighters in town. Kind of same idea. I just liked it. I thought the green one was kind of different. You can program this from the front, and it is fairly easy to do. Okay? This isn't one of those radios that it's like totally contradictory to anything you've ever programmed. If you've programmed a Yaesu or Kenwood or an ICOM, you can program this from the front, no problem. It will work with their software as well, and it does come with a programming cable. Did want to mention that too. Really nice display on it. I'm going to show you the display here. So you do have a color display. I don't know if color is showing up on the camera, but you do have a nice color display. It does time out rather quickly. I do have to up that. But your menu options are fairly simple. You really not much to do here. You're just going to go through your menu. On the bottom there, your firmware. You can choose whatever you want to do here. You do have your offsets and all your PL tones and all that stuff in through the menu options here. So it is very simple to program. Your A and B button is down here. So that's our local repeater on 2 meters. Whoops. So let's go down to that. And that's our local repeater on 440, and that's our local repeater on 2 meters. It was on 440 previously. There we go. So you can see it switching from main to main. So it is very simple to use. Programming-wise, it was not difficult. I did put a few frequencies in here using their software, and I did put a few frequencies in here just manually, just to test it out. The antenna is something I'd probably replace. But as we know, most of these HTs that come with these antennas, it's pretty much a dummy load. You know, it's really not going to get you out too far. I did test it with this TID radio 771, and it did seem to do a whole lot better reception-wise. Transmitting, it hits all my local repeaters, even the GMRS stuff. I was very pleased with it. Another neat feature about this is it does have a drop-in charger, but it also has fast USB-C charging. Now, I did use a different USB-C cable. This is the one that came with it. I have so many of these now. And it will charge up very quickly on the bottom there, you see. So you will be able to charge it up very, very quickly without any kind of hassle. You have 16 full keys on the front, 2 programming functions. You can go down to as low as 2.5 kilohertz tuning steps. It does have the SOS button on top and the emergency button and all that. You do have a battery saver in the menu options there, so you can have this shut down a little bit between transmissions. You do a timeout timer. You have 8-character alpha channel names. So if you want to name stuff, like one of our repeaters is on Mount Potosi, I could name it Potosi, and I'd know which repeater that was without looking at the frequency. It does do Vox. It does have, you can turn your key beeps on and off. You can turn your voice announce on and off, which I did because that drives me nuts. When I'm scrolling through the channels and like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, just turn that off. I know where I'm going. And you control all your squelch levels from the front and the menu. So what I want to do here, they say it's a 5-watt radio. I want to do a quick power test with a meter and see about what this thing is putting out. And I'm going to be using the other antenna because I find the other antenna performs better with my tester. So let me get that hooked up and I'll bring you back and we'll take a look at it. All right, so I got my tester on here. I don't know why mine always seems to sit sideways on these radios. Everybody else that uses this, they're always right in front. But you see we're on 2 meters here. That's our main frequency. And we're going to transmit here. I'm going to get it to the power. I'm showing about 6.1, yeah. Not bad. 6.1 watts. So that's really not that bad. Let's try it on 440. Go to B. Okay. And 5.7, 5.9. Not bad at all. So definitely impressive. I got to say, for the price on it, I was a little surprised that it actually was transmitting a little higher than what they said. Normally when they say these, they'll say 25 watts and it's like 5. So I was actually impressed. It did transmit a little bit higher. Okay, let's get rid of that thing there in the middle there, and let's try it out on FM and NOAA band so I show you how that works. Let me turn that down a little bit. There's your weather button. It is controlled by the side 2 buttons here. That's your weather. That's your FM. You can change that if you want, by the way. So if you want to do that and you want to change it, you can change that out to whatever you want. And again, you turn it on. And if you want to get rid of it, just hit the button again. Your FM is here. I don't have it on the station. Oh, yeah, your FM's on the side here. So you can scroll through your FM dial. There's nothing down on this end of the dial. But you see how that works. And it does have a decent FM reception. So far, I've really had good luck with it. I haven't had any kind of issues with it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it on a simplex frequency and just let you guys listen in and see what it sounds like. I'm going to drive about a mile down the road and just transmit on simplex and let you hear what it sounds like. The actual sound on it is pretty decent for a little tiny radio. So we're going to check it out. I do want to show you the side here. That is your microphone. So it's standard Kenwood type, 2-plug adapter on the side. So let's get this on a simplex frequency and let's listen in and see what it sounds like. All right, so we're set up here on 14652. I'm just going to drive down the street here real quick. And what's going to happen is I'm just going to edit the video and you will see what it sounds like from about a mile and a half down the road. I'm going to just basically go outside of my driveway and around the block to the other end of the town, over kind of where I do my radio station show from on Monday nights. So it's about 1.2 miles, actually. So let me get in the car, and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, we're out here. This is W6UTC testing my new radio, W6UTC, test complete. All right, we're back inside. That sounded pretty darn good, actually. And by the way, a lot of people ask me what radio this is. It's a Baofeng UV9R Plus. It's usually sitting over there by my workbench, by my work table there. And that's what I'm using to test it with. And you see we have the stock antenna. Nothing fancy. Does seem to work very well. It sounded that clear about a mile and a half out. Now remember, we are very flat country out here. If you live in a big city where you have buildings and obstructions everywhere, it may not work a mile and a half away from you. It's very dependent on your area and what's in it. So that's basically, just wanted to show everybody what that radio was. Everybody asks me, what radio is that? Even if I'm reviewing something totally unrelated to radio. So, yeah, it seems to do a good job. Seems to work pretty well. I've been impressed with it so far. I've been using it for about 2 weeks now, on and off. I checked into the net with it on Wednesday night from outside of my house, of course, because inside my house is like a Faraday cage. Nothing gets out. So I did check in with it, and it seemed to work pretty well. No issues with audio or anything, so it's a definite neat little system. You can do wide or narrow FM on this, so it will work on GMRS with a wider bandwidth, and I do have it set for narrow on the ham bands. So generally, if you know what you're doing and you're not going to cause any trouble on the radio, and you're going to use it on ham and you have a call sign and you're licensed, you really won't run into any problems. There are people that will tell you, oh, that's the end of the world if you ever do that. They're going to come find you. Generally, no, as long as you're not being a problem, And I think it's a decent little radio. It does do both. It is labeled, as you can see by the box here, as a GMRS portable transceiver. So if GMRS is all you're interested in, you don't want to study for your ham test, you just want to pay your $35 onto the FCC's website, which I think is back up. It's been down for a while. You can do that, and boom, you got a license in 2 days, and they will send you your call sign. But I think it's important to have a little bit of a background in radio so you understand things like repeaters and offsets and tones and all that. A little bit easier for you to understand that stuff if, in fact, you already are a ham. So it's up to you what you guys want to do. There's plenty of information out there on GMRS, and I think it is, especially if you have repeaters in your area, a very viable means of communications in disaster or emergency. However, if you do have a repeater in your area and there's only one repeater, that might be very overloaded during a disaster or emergency. And you may need to rely on simplex, and that's when thinking about an outside antenna might be a better idea. Anyway, folks, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I really do like this little radio. They run about, the black one is $50, $49.99, and the green one is $59.99. They are a little bit more expensive than a Baofeng. However, I do particularly like the display on them. Very nice looking display. I don't know if you can really see it online, on the camera I mean, but it definitely has a nice bunch of colors to it. You do have a little S meter and a volume meter down at the bottom there. And you do get the option of having your weather, your weather radio or your FM radio. I do like that as well. So it's a neat little system. And that is the A36Plus. It is a by Talkpod. It is a GMRS and ham HT. I believe it's type certified for GMRS, but it is a neat little system, and it does have a decent lithium-ion battery. You're going to get 7 different bands of coverage on this to listen to. Nice color display. You'd have that IP54 rated weatherproof design. You do have the digital. You can do a DCS, digital code squelch, or a regular squelch tone on it. It does have a Roger beep. For the love of God, don't use those. And a nice, decent clip. Some decent accessories. Again, you're going to get your charging cradle there. You do have your programming cable, and I went and put my other radio on top of all this. Your programming cable will come with it. Your little Type-C charger for just charging that, and a lanyard. So all in all, and a nice little instruction manual. And again, you drop in charger. So it's a decent little system. And if you're looking to get something that you don't really have to worry about losing a $300 or $400 HT, that's definitely a good option. Anyway, it's Talkpod A36Plus. I will put the link down below. It's in my Amazon store. You can check it out. I do like the fact that it does have the FM radio and the NOAA as well, so I can just click a switch on the side there and get my NOAA weather radio if I need it, or I can click a switch on the side here and get my FM if I need it to as well. So I do like that as well. I think for a first HT, wouldn't be a bad choice. I know my first one was an Alinco dual bander that cost me like, God, I want to say $350, and that was the cheap at the time. That was a cheap one at the time. We're talking 1999 when I got my ham license, and so coming into the world today of ham radio is a whole lot less expensive than it used to be. Anyway, folks, link will be down below. Definitely check them out below. That's our Amazon affiliate store. This will be in the store as well, but if you're interested, you can check out the rest of the store. It's mostly stuff I use in my channel or things I've reviewed. If there's nothing in the store you like, just click the link, shop as you normally would. Definitely helps us out. We do appreciate that, and it doesn't cost you anything to do. Our freeze-dried wholesaler link. Got my big freeze-dry wholesaler link order in yesterday, so we're going to be doing some cooking and some videos on that. He is slowly seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Everything is starting to get stocked back up again. There are still some things out. I know someone will go there and hunt out the one thing that's out and go, but he's still out of that. I know. He's working on it. They're working on it. They're getting expanded. They've hired more people. He's been working overnights in the plant himself, and they're trying to pump out as much food as possible. And that's something you should realize, because you saw how quickly a push in demand cleared him out. And he wasn't even cleared out during COVID. All right. So definitely get your stuff, get stocked up. My link will save you 15% on that. Below that is our My Patriot Supply link. Our big special this month, you're going to save $80 off a 4-week food kit. That's a 4-week food kit, 2,000 calories a day, 16 different varieties, 25-year shelf life. You got breakfast, lunches, dinners, and snacks going to be on sale. You're going to save $80 on 4 weeks worth of food. That's a definite good deal. So check out preparewithiridium.com, preparewithiridium.com, and our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. Don't forget to check them out as well. I thank you guys for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.